Good morning everyone. This is Kailin Kamikawa. The other day, a Korean martial arts and martial arts related such as samurai, Japanese sword, kendo, karate, traditional culture such as kabuki and origami, Japanese food such as sushi and takwon, various Japanese etymologies such as wishoi, celebrities such as Shiraku Toshusai and the Emperor, tangible cultural properties such as Kumamoto Castle, Japanese gardens and Magatama, animals and plants such as Yoshino cherry tree and Akita dog, from official Japanese flags such as the rising sun flag to various inventions that are considered to be Japanese icons. Claiming Korean origin for everything, tangible and intangible, I have reported on the fact that Japanese culture continues to be plagiarized. Come here and visit kimchi, which can be said to be the identity of Korea. A kimchi origin controversy is occurring in China and South Korea. I would like to inform you that the response will be helpful for Japanese people as well. In November 2020, the manufacturing method and preservation method of salted fermented vegetable, Paozai, in Sichuan Province, China, certified by the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, Sichuan Province, China, we established international food standards and began to make a big declaration that kimchi originated in China. On the other hand, the South Korean side naturally rebelled. It is a big chorus of criticism that China is a cultural thief by the public and private sectors. From my point of view, Koreans often hear a great mouth without paying attention to their own actions. I will think. On the contrary, popular Korean Moppin, video of eating and drinking, YouTuber Hamzy, Chinese claim that kimchi and sam are traditional cultures of their own country, he commented. On the other hand, the Chinese side suddenly removed all her content from Chinese social media and video sharing platforms. In addition, Mr. Hamzy's agency in China was announced on January 17th. I notified that I would cancel the contract with her. Her agency is an official comment. Recently, Hamzy's insults against China have had a very serious negative impact on the Chinese masses. We have officially decided to end all cooperation for today only, she said, by her remarks that hurt Chinese fans. It deeply undermined the sentiment of Chinese fans and our confidence in the Chinese Communist Party, was announced. It's more like sexual harassment and power harassment level, retaliation, than blame. In Japan, when you hear kimchi, you associate it with red kimchi pickled in chili peppers. Originally, the word kimchi was used to mean pickles. During the famine in South Korea in the 1760s, chili peppers were used as a substitute for soaring salt. It is said to be the beginning of the current Korean kimchi. Paozai, which has received ISO certification from China, means vegetables pickled in salt. The first Korean kimchi described in the Goryeo era book, Korean History, is at the ritual offering, chimchi. It was made by adding garlic and ginger to salted vegetables. Looking only at the description, there is no difference between paozai and chimchi, the ancestor of kimchi. In each country, according to each climate, national character, and lifestyle, it just changed little by little. Insisting on the origin is meaningless. Japan never claims its origin in ramen, curry, dumplings. Rather, considering the of the country of origin, I think that both countries have a national character that is completely different from the common sense of the Japanese people. Kimchi became known in Japan after the annexation of Korea in 1910. From the recognition that it is called Korean pickles and spicy and smelly, it wasn't very popular at that time. The reason why kimchi became popular in Japan was the Korean boom that accompanied the 1988 Seoul Olympics. As TV, newspapers, magazines, etc. have created a special feature on South Korea, the number of people who have a favorite feeling for South Korea has increased. The 2002 Japan-Korea World Cup ignited the kimchi boom. Furthermore, in 2003, the Korean TV drama, Winter Sonata, was aired. The first Korean wave boom broke out. The entertainment and Korean food boom has begun. With this as an opportunity, the number of Japanese customers in Koreatown in Shin-Okubo increased. Kimchi Yokocho in Higashiueno, known as the Korean town of old comers, Japanese customers also rushed to the vicinity of Tsuruhashi Station in Osaka. It was the moment when the distance between Japan and South Korea, which was said to be a near and far country, approached for the first time. However, South Korean President Lee Myung-bak said, "I've got it up." In order to raise his approval rating, he landed on Takeshima and requested an apology from the emperor one after another. In the Korean media, the Jungang Ilbo announcing the commentary that the atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were punishment by God. We received protests from the Japanese government and strengthened the offensive tone against Japan. Anti-Korean public opinion has become the mainstream in Japanese public opinion. Also, Vank, a Korean internet organization, we promoted the Discount Japan movement in the international community. When the South Korean president was replaced by Park Geun-hye in 2013, South Korea's anti-Japan became even sharper. On the other hand, even in Japan, Korean food suffered a serious slump in sales. A Korean food maker official said in 2015, "The anti-Korean mood has spread in Japan for a few years. There is an atmosphere where you don't drink Korean soju or makgeolli even at the liquor table." The feeling of anti-Korean sentiment increased. Well, this is the pattern in almost every country. The so-called praise and growth, Koreans have an anti-Korean sentiment. The trend is to become more and more disliked. K-pop and others will once dominate the world, but I'm afraid of what Koreans say and do after that. It is clear that we will follow the same path eventually. In Japan, there is a saying, "Is it an ear of rice that hangs its head as it grows?" That's what I want Koreans to learn by imitating Japanese people. Returning to the story, this controversy did not subside in 2021 and the Chinese Communist Party Political and Legal Commission announced on January 13 about Mr. Hamzi's remarks. Famous YouTubers in South Korea, kimchi is Korean, and dried persimmon is Korean. The reason for stinging everything is it's because they lack confidence in themselves. On the other hand, according to the Korean press on March 12, 2021, if you've been eating Chinese kimchi a lot lately, be prepared to see it. And the video titled, "How to Pickle Chinese Cabbage in China," is spreading on the Korean internet. It was reported that it was shocking Korean internet users. In this video, a large amount of Chinese cabbage is pickled. In a large aquarium covered with vinyl, a middle-aged man with his jacket off is sneaking into Chinese cabbage. I can't tell if his lower body is wearing anything. Chinese cabbage is soaked in ochre salt water, and this man moves the Chinese cabbage with his bare hands. The tip of the rusted excavator is in the aquarium. This video is said to have been posted on China's largest SNS, Weibo, in June 2020. The place and date when this video was taken is not clear. The Chinese who mentioned this video at the time said that he was a power shovel engineer. "The Chinese cabbage you eat is also pickled by me." He insisted that Chinese cabbage pickled in this way is also exported to South Korea and other countries. Currently deleted, Korean internet users who watched this video, "I can't eat Chinese kimchi anymore. Shouldn't we ban the import of Chinese kimchi? It's not good to eat Chinese food just because it's cheap." Hygiene is also an issue, but as this video spreads around the world, there is also concern that the value of the food brand kimchi will decline. Isn't only the image of South Korea worsening? They responded by saying, "Be sure to confirm the origin of kimchi from today." On the 11th, when the response in South Korea became loud, an official of the Korean embassy in China said, "The Chinese government agency, which corresponds to the Korea Customs Service, replied, 'It's not kimchi for export.' It seems to be a special case of food hygiene violation, not a general practice," he added. However, the open mouth is not closed. From the perspective of the Japanese, China and South Korea have the same hole. I'm tired of the two countries claiming the origin, and the response is at the level of the kids' claim. In addition, the hygiene level for kimchi is the lowest, which is disgusting news. In fact, this is not the first time that the safety issues of Chinese and Korean kimchi have been addressed. In 2005, reports that lead components above the standard value were detected in Chinese kimchi. There were also reports that a large number of parasites were found in kimchi products. From the perspective of Japan, there is no big difference between Korean products. Parasite eggs have also been detected in some Korean kimchi. Korea Food and Drug Administration, when we inspected the products of 502 Korean kimchi companies that are on the market nationwide, of the 502 kimchi, 16 parasite eggs were detected. These 16 companies are small companies with annual sales of less than 100 million won. Separately, as a result of examining 165 Chinese cabbage cases, parasite eggs were detected in 8 cases. Regarding this, an official of the Food and Drug Administration said, "The detected parasite eggs are not only human parasites. Eggs of parasites of animals such as pigs, dogs and cats were also detected." Some farmers use pig excrement as fertilizer. The process of composting excrement is not enough. It is likely that the excrement of free-range animals remained in the raw materials. Furthermore, in South Korea, leftover kimchi can be reused. Photos that seem to have spit on kimchi for Japan have also been disseminated. From the Japanese point of view, the controversy is at the level of boogers and boogers, and neither can be trusted at all. I'm no longer interested in such an ugly barren discussion. However, what the Japanese should learn here is how China and South Korea counterattacked the origin controversy. Instead of eye for an eye, tooth for an eye, you can see that double back, 10 times back, is their international standard. If you were doing something like Japan, if you hit your right cheek, give your left cheek. That's the fact that even the hair of the ass is pulled out and the other party is only lifted up. Looking at the way of this controversy between China and South Korea, it can be clearly understood. If it is the same Buddhist country, the Buddhist ethics peculiar to the Japanese can still be understood. You can clearly see that it doesn't work in China or South Korea. They only have the pre-modern theory that powerful things are justice. In other words, showing power is the correct response to them. I could only feel it. Well, in Japan, it's like the Warring States period of the 1600s. Japanese people who are out of peace want to make sure that they don't get sick. Lie like exhaling, the Japanese, and people all over the world, should never forget this word. Don't be fooled by Korean lies. That's all.